Okay, so Trap. Right, this is the new joint from M. Night Shyamalan. He wrote it as well as directing. He, also is a producer on the film, along with Mark Beinstock and Ashwin Rajan. It's executive produced by Stephen Schmeider and co-produced by Jeff Robinson and Scott Friend. Herdis Stefadotta took care of the music. Seyon Bleu Mok Diprom is cinematography. Naomi Katharina Reswork edits the piece. Douglas Abel did the casting. Production design is Debbie Davila. Art direction is Alex Cameron and Stephen Depko. Brittany Morrison was set decoration, and Carolyn Duncan costume design. Right, Tori Binns and Joanne McNeil took care of the hair and the makeup. And our cast. Well, Cooper is played by Josh Hartnett. His daughter, Riley, is played by Ariel Donoghue. His wife, Rachel, is played by Alison Peel. He does have a son. Yeah, his son's Logan is played by Lachlan Miller. Right. We then have got Lady Raven, who, is the artist performing at the concert, and she is played by Saleka. I had only ever seen her down as Saleka. I didn't know her surname was Shyamalan, right? She's M. Night's daughter, his eldest daughter. And yeah, she is actually a singer, right? So she plays Lady Raven. We've got Hayley Mills as Dr. Josephine Grant, Jonathan Langdon as Jamie, Mark Bocolo as Spencer. There's Jodie's mum, played by Marini McPhail. The Thinker is played by Kid Cudi. Parker Wayne is played by Russ. We've got Cooper's mother, right? She is played by Marcia Bennett. The tour manager, who we see talking with Riley and everything, is played by Vanessa Smythe. M. Night. He shows up in a lot of these films, right? He is the spotter and Lady Raven's uncle. We've got the lead SWAT guy, played by Steve Boyle. Some other SWAT people, snipers. We've got David Delancey Wilson, James Gomez, Nadine Hyatt, Michael Brown. The Thinker's assistant is played by Haley Summer. Olivia Barrett is the nurse. Alison Ferrance is the girl in the fast food spot that has the accident. Jodie is played by Harley Rosanetsky. And the limo driver is played by Joseph Daly. Right? I think that's probably our main lot of people. So, what is this about? That's what you're asking, isn't it? Come on, you know you are. Okay. Everyone in a large city is in a frenzy. Why? That's because they're up and ready to watch a concert performed by famous pop star Lady Raven. Two of her fans, a man named Cooper and his daughter Riley, attend the concert with high spirits, but things slowly begin to change their tune. Amongst the screams of adoration and sounds of applause, the concert itself has a hidden identity, a front to fish out an infamous serial killer known as the Butcher. With security cameras rigged, armies of policemen with weapons at the ready, the police vehicles surrounding the venue. Will anyone survive their concert experience, or is there more to the Butcher than meets the eye? So that's the gist. Now, I'd seen stuff about this, and I was intrigued because you know what? Josh Hartnett has really, oh man, he's had that kind of career resurgence. You know, like he was in Oppenheimer. Oh God, what other things was he in? He's been in some good. I mean, the Guy Ritchie films, Wrath of Man and Operation Fortune, not so great, but you know, Oppenheimer, he was fantastic in Oppenheimer. You know what I mean? He really was. And I know there was something else recently. I mean, obviously he did, you know, Sin City, 30 Days of Night, Lucky Number 11, which is probably my favorite of his films. You know? So that intrigued me. And M. Night Shyamalan, I mean, his stuff is interesting, right? We covered Old on the old pod, right? I feel that was, I want to say last year, but I think it probably was the year before, right? It was in the last few years. I think Old was last year. No, Cabin in the Woods. Or Knock at the Cabin. God damn it. My memory is so bad, people. But those films of late were interesting. You know what I mean? They were definitely interesting pieces. So, yeah, no, I mean, I was intrigued. I was intrigued, right? I was like, okay, let's do it. Let's give this a check. Now, obviously, there's parts of this which you're just like, wait, how would this make sense? I don't know how, because that was another thing. Because I'm just like, I want to see it because I want to know, how do they make it make sense? You know, that this whole concert has been organized to trap one person who they don't know what they look like. Right? It was like, oh no, that sounds goofy. Now, I really did think they created a good festival, like gig experience, right? Just the way, like Ariel is, you know, like singing the songs, right? And all of that malarkey. Like Riley, I said Ariel, that's her real name. Riley, yeah, how she is. Yeah, it's good. The fact that they didn't try and make her a good singer or anything like that, she captured, like Ariel did a good job of capturing that irritating energy of a little girl. I mean, you know, she's not tiny, right? She's not 6, but she's of that age where, you know, girls go crazy at, you know, certain concerts and things like that. And that was really well done. Even like Hartnett as Cooper, and when I say even him, I mean, what I mean is because obviously we know he's got the alter ego in this, which is given, it's not a secret. It's in the trailer. We know from the beginning that he's the butcher. But as a dad, right, excited to take his daughter to a gig, it might be her first. We're not quite sure. But him wanting to take her to this thing and make it a great evening for her. But, just those little things of like, oh, I need to do my shoelace. You know what I mean? Just he captured those elements very well, right? All of that was good. And the gig itself did feel like a gig. Sometimes with these things, you're watching it and you're just like, I mean, there's no one here. Like you don't have that room in a thing like that. What's going on? Right. But they did a great job of covering it. And I'm watching it and I'm thinking, this sounds all right, This sounds all right. Right? Because what was it? It was I think the film was The Idea of You. It was that one with Anne Hathaway and gosh, I cannot think of the dude's name. But he's a singer and Anne Hathaway's older, and you know what I mean? Yeah, yes, there was that one. There was also another. I just realized there was another one as well, right? Where you had Zac Efron, right? So yeah, that's so funny. Well, there was two films recently about singers, and people being that, but the songs were fucking horrible. Oh my god! Yes, it was A Family Affair, or was he a movie star? He might have been a movie star in that one, actually. And yes, I mean the other one was definitely The Idea of You. But yeah, and especially with The Idea of You, the songs were horrible. The songs were fucking horrible. Like every element of that, you just thought, this doesn't work, man. This doesn't work. What are we doing here? But with this, I'm like, maybe that song isn't for me, but whoever they've got playing, Lady Raven, she can sing, right? She's doing her thing there. And then I realized not during, but once looking everything up, then when I see who it was, all makes sense. Because I did really like the stuff she did for Servant. Even then, I didn't even clock that was Chalaman's daughter. You know what I mean? But yeah, those elements of the film work so well. Really did work so well. The plot, that's when things get a little bit hokey. It's the plot, right? Because firstly, the police aren't even trying to hide the fact that they're there, which you think, I kind of have a feeling you'd want to be a bit more subtle with it, right? You'd want to be a bit more subtle with it, but they're not. They're not. And even because, we have Cooper talking to a member of staff, right? He's doing all of these things to try and find out what's going on. And you just been like, firstly, you know what I mean? Why would the member of staff tell someone all of this information? Because they probably, firstly, there's two things, right? If they had been given all of that info, they would have been told not to fucking tell anyone, right? But just the idea of the police telling all of these members of staff, because you'd think, okay, how would you know that the butcher isn't a member of staff. So giving them passwords and just all of this information makes no sense, because it seems like there wasn't enough time to, well, no, because it's not like the concert was put on especially, because they were already going to the concert, so there wouldn't have been enough time to vet every single member of staff. So that part of this film was kind of baffling. None of that really made any sort of sense. And even if, like, going backstage and just all, none of that made any sort of sense. It just seemed a bit too, like, oh, we're trying to be a bit too smart here, right? Those kind of elements and things kind of throw you out of the film. But because it's a bit of a goofy concept, but you can roll with it, right? You can roll with. But when you start doing certain things, you're just like, I don't know. I can't buy this, son. Can't buy this. What are we doing? Interestingly enough, this is based on an actual thing that did go down, right? It was Operation Flagship in 1985, where the FBI and the the police, the Met, well, it was the Marshal Service, right? They arrested, I suppose, 101 wanted fugitives. So they invited them to a convention center, right? It was this whole NFL themed thing, and there was an opportunity to win tickets to the Super Bowl, right? Which would have taken, that was in December. Super Bowl's happening in February. So it makes sense. Anyone got, you'd be like, oh, yeah, right? But that was more subtle, right? You had all the cops hidden and everything. In that context, it makes more sense. In a live gig where you've just got mad general people from the public there, that's where it gets like, I don't think this could go down, right? Just little things like the door that I think it's Russ comes up on. That's open way too long, just on a health and safety aspect, right? Because anyone could have fallen down. Like, you're not keeping that open that long, right? There's just things like that that don't really make any sense. You think about Lady Raven's limo driver. What's that man doing? Right? What's he doing? You know what I mean? It's just, yeah, you're scratching your head a little bit. Other things, because I think it's kind of goofy, but you're like looking, you're thinking, oh, how are they gonna do this? How are they gonna tie all this together? Oh, I will say the fast food bit. You aren't standing looking at that thing. The minute you see science, you are at least turning around, ducking down, turning. You're not doing what we see happens. But that's all I can say on that. But yeah, there's a point where you're like, okay. And then they really go towards the end, they really go fucking crazy. Really go crazy. And you are scratching your head and being like, wait, what? And then we get all of this kind of like, ooh. Then they try and tie it all together, right? And they throw this thing out there. And you're just like, okay, if that did happen like that, where's your contingency? Right? Because if all of that was true, you would then be going, okay, well, I need to and I should and let me, you know, it's not just gonna be, oh, boom, boom, boom. So you are, which all sounds a little vague. I know it does, people, but I am not trying to spoil the ending for you. So that's all I can say. Now, I feel once you watched it, you'll get what I'm alluding to here. And you'll be like, yeah, that motherfucker Kevin was right. Doesn't make any fucking sense. What? Right? So you just have all of that, you know? Just have all of that, especially, the pie thing, the bike. Like, there's just so many things which don't really work. Don't really work when you think about them. So it's a goofy idea, but it's kind of interesting. You're there because you want to see how they gonna pull this off. How they gonna do it, right? So all of that, is what it is. It's fine. It's fine. You do get lost at the end. You do get lost, and the end of credit bit, we didn't need that. We really didn't. I mean, that character is just irritating, and it plays into what I said earlier as well. So we didn't need the end credit bit. I don't know why that was there. But we do get some really good acting. As I said, you know what I mean? Ariel is very good. Josh, you know what I mean? Old Joshy boy. Hartnett is good. Right? Alison Peel. All of those people are good. Haley Miles. We don't really get a lot of Dr. Josephine Grant, really. We kind of just hear her talk a lot. The talk pattern is very odd. It does feel very odd, but that's all we kind of get from her. Saleka, her singing and performance as Lady Raven is very good. The acting isn't too bad, right? This seems to be her first acting gig. Right now, she's made music videos and all of that, but this is a different thing. There's a few moments where the emotion isn't always on the mark, but she is pretty solid. She is pretty solid. So we do get some good performances, you know. Vanessa Smythe, just that's all very good, right? Russ, Kid Cudi, Marnie McFarles, Jodie's mum, you know what I mean? All of that, boom. Yeah, it's pretty decent. It's pretty decent. But you really have to be able to suspend your disbelief as this goes further and further in the weeds, right? But if you do like an M. Night Shyamalan film, you'll probably be down. You will probably be down, right? So Trap, it is now on a big screen near you.